Kitchen. If it's your first time here, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. It's a weeknight as usual. I'm cooking for the family. Today's episode is about balance. When I'm cooking for my family, I believe in balance. We're gonna have fried chicken tonight. So you gotta offset. You know, when you're having something that's a little unhealthy, you gotta throw something healthy too. We're having macaroni and cheese tonight. So we're having something unhealthy.
Add my special blend of equal
little
parts salt,
rich,
and garlic to these chicken legs. We're gonna season more, so that's enough.
Cholesterol-y, a little fat. So you gotta offset these things sometimes. You know what I mean? So you gotta add. They take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. Remember that? So you have some chicken that's been washed and drained. Just a few chicken legs. And I've got some buttermilk here, and I'm just gonna pour this over top of the chicken in the bag. And I'm gonna let it marinate in the buttermilk and the seasonings just for a little while. So, buttermilk chicken. Give it a little shake so that everything gets coated. And you're gonna set that aside. You know I'm all about saving time. So as soon as I walk in the door, if I know I'm gonna prepare certain things, if it has to do with the oven, I don't do, before I drop my coat, I will put the preheat on the oven. If I have to boil something in water, I get the water on the stove right away before I do start my preparation or anything. That way, by the time you catch up to that step, you'll already be ahead of the game. You don't have to be waiting for boiling water. So now all I'm gonna do is just drop my pasta. And one of my side dishes that I'm doing today with the fried chicken is gonna be Brussels sprouts. You know, we're gonna get them trimmed up. We're gonna get them halved, and then we're gonna prepare them a little bit differently today. I got a little saucepan going. There it goes. I'm gonna add some heavy cream to that. That's about a good cup. Here's my cooked pasta. And these next, the cheese. I got some mild cheddar and some sharp cheddar. I like to blend my cheeses. I'll look in the fridge and see if there's any more cheeses in there I can throw up in this. The cheese sauce is simmering. We gotta season this up a little bit. Oops. So I'm gonna add a couple dashes of my salt, pepper, and garlic, and just a little tip of nutmeg. And you'll be surprised, a little tip of nutmeg. Tip, 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 tip. I'm gonna add some broccoli to my mac and cheese. So we're gonna use the same pasta water, and we're just gonna boil this broccoli or get some of the ice off of it. We're not gonna boil it for too long. We're just gonna knock the ice off of it. And then we're gonna add it to our pasta and our cheese, and then we're gonna get that in the oven for a few. So here goes nothing. We got a little pan here. So I'm gonna just line the bottom of this with a little cheese, just to make sure we've got a fundamental layer of cheesy goodness for pasta to sit in. We got our cooked pasta and our defrosted broccoli. So just go right in. It's a little clumped. Hot, 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 hot. I don't have those chef hands that don't feel heat yet. My hands be burning. So I'm just gonna mix this a little bit just to distribute the broccoli and get some of that cheese sauce on here. So the rest of the cheese sauce, a little spatula action, get it all out. Cheese. I'm not done yet. I'm about the cheese when I make mac and cheese. I'm about the cheese. Sharp cheddar time. That's looking pretty cheesy, but I'm not done yet. How about some Parmesan cheese? Get it right on top. I'm gonna get a little cuckoo crazy with this one. I never tried this before. Here goes some blue cheese. And I'm just gonna crumble that. Tangy, sharp, bittery, lovely blue cheese up in there. Who don't like blue cheese? That's a good, fairly good amount of cheese. What's this right here? Another pack of cheese. Oh man, all right, just for the top. This is for presentation. Yes, this is ready for 475 oven until it gets all golden brown and delicious. While my oil is getting hot and ready, I'm gonna set up my chicken for frying. So I've got some flour here. This is about a cup of flour. This is some cornstarch. I'm just gonna add about a cup of cornstarch. This is a little seasoned salt. Not too much, just a nice sprinkle. We already got the chicken seasoned. Remember, we got the chicken seasoned a little bit earlier. We got that salt, pepper, and garlic on there. We got that tangy buttermilk. So just some seasoned salt is good here for this first dredge. And this is just gonna be the flour coating for the 3-part. I'm gonna do flour, then I'm gonna do egg, and then I'm gonna do breadcrumb. When you're working with chicken, hygiene and cleanliness is very, very important. So in between all these phases of me running around doing this, doing that, every time I get in contact with that chicken, I'm gonna come to the sink and I'm gonna wash my hands. A little soap in the hottest water that you can stand. Just make sure that you keep your station clean. Make sure you keep your hands clean so that you're not contaminating your workspace with chicken juices, which can cause salmonella. Keep clean. Setting up my dredging station number 2. Get this blended up. Before it's plenty to cover, when you get it blended up a little bit, you can cut this with a little water. If you don't think it's gonna cover properly, you can cut it with a little water just to stretch it out some. But I think this is plenty. And once you get that shape going like I did before with the flour, it's definitely gonna get everybody a little bit of love. And then that'll allow the next step, which is gonna be the breadcrumbs, to stick. It's gonna stick to the flour, stick to the buttermilk, stick to the eggs. The breadcrumbs will be on the outside and it's gonna make a nice coating for chicken. Yeah, buddy, okay. Everybody from the first station into the second station. Straight in. Make sure you cover this thing down tight because you don't want, when you start shaking, and eggs start going all over you and all over the kitchen. That's gonna be crazy. You're gonna be in trouble. Get that in a nice shape. Toss, turn it upside down every which way. Uh-oh. You see now? You did it now. All right. Like I said, if you want to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs or get a few on your sweater. It's laundry day today anyway. Coat it with eggs. Soon move on to the next step. All this chicken shaking going on, I almost forgot about my mac and cheese. It's in a 475-degree oven, and it's looking pretty tasty right now. Check it out. It's golden brown, crusty, and delicious, just like I like it. Here we go. I'm just gonna set this aside, and then we're gonna go on and fry some chicken. So my thermometer is looking about 325-ish. So it looks like I'm almost ready to get in there. I don't want it to get too hot because it gets past those desired temperatures pretty quickly. I'm just gonna cook this on here and keep watching it until I'm gonna coat the chicken with the breading now. So you gotta keep watching it. Sometimes you just gotta adjust the temperature a little bit because it's gonna get to that temperature and it's gonna kick off sometimes. If you're not really watching it, it'll get past where you want it to go, and then you're gonna have like really dark chicken on the outside and it's not going to be cooked fully on the inside because you're going to watch it. It's going to keep getting dark, and you'll be like, oh, I know this chicken is not done yet. So make sure that you pay very close attention to the temperature of the oil. Some people know how to do it just by sight. Some people are nice like that. I like to use my little kitchen gadgets that I buy so I can kind of apply some science to it. Ready for phase 3 of getting this chicken ready for this fry. So we've got some breadcrumbs, the rest of the flour that I had. I'm going to put a little bit more cornstarch in here. I'm going to bulk this up a little bit. Cornstarch really will add some crisp. We can season in layers. Oops, I keep forgetting I just don't have a fork. Gonna shake in a little bit of seasoned salt. And then I'm gonna put some of my original salt, pepper, and garlic blend. This I can that off. That sounds good. I'm gonna add a little bit more freshly cracked pepper. Just because I like that pepper flavor in the fry. Just a couple pinches of that freshly cracked pepper. I cracked it yesterday. So you're like, that's not freshly cracked. I didn't see you grinding anything, Chef Mr. David. Sir, I use my spice grinder and I grind some pepper just about every few days while I'm cooking. So I'm just gonna give this a hand stir. Got a hand stir. And then I'm gonna start adding my chicken. Shake off some of the excess because you don't want to wet this thing up and then it'll clump up and you won't have good coating. This is gonna take a while. I'm gonna put everything try to one side. I don't want to get everything too moist. I'm gonna run out of breadcrumbs and dry stuff pretty fast if I do it that way. So, yeah. Right at the edge. I'm gonna come over here and make sure I use some of this dry here and just get over top. Wasn't planning on having that little bit of flour there, and I really didn't feel like running out in the cold to the store. So we just improvise and use what we have to get what we want. Use what you got to get what you want, as the song says. I'm gonna cover this up, wash this hand, and I'll be right back. Okay, so got my hands all washed. Every stage, every step, you want to make sure that you keep that hygiene going. So now, I'm gonna hold this side this time. Whole lot of shaking going on. Voila. It's good and coated. That's good and coated. I had enough. Had enough to go around. Never fret, never worry. Everything is here. Our oil is about up to temperature. I'm gonna go check on it now, and then we're gonna start frying our first pieces. So you might be wondering that from my before shots and my now shots, why I have this on my head. Well, the dreadlocks will hold all of the smells that I'm putting down in the kitchen, and then tomorrow I'll be at work smelling like food, and I don't really like that. So I gotta keep it covered. Make sure some of that smell can bounce off and not get all up in here. Gross. So my thermometer was reading 350. I took it out and was waving it around just now, so it's not gonna read 350. It was just reading 350, so I know I'm ready to go. Just gonna grab a tongs and I'm gonna start frying some chicken. Give it a little shake. And then, there you go. Since we got it nice and dry, you're not gonna hear a lot of snap, crackle, and pop right now. I guarantee that oil is good and hot. Now, once you start adding this chicken, remember it was cold, it's gonna start dropping the temperature. So you wanna make sure that you compensate by turning up the heat a little bit on your flame, because the temperature is going to start dropping immediately. So I'm just going to try to get about half of the chicken pieces that I have in here laid in. So leave them enough room so that they can breathe. Yeah, that's it. Probably going to switch from my battle tongs to a little longer, safer instrument, but I'm just gonna let this fry away until it's golden brown and delicious. I'm gonna keep watching it. I have my probe thermometer so I can check the temperature of the chicken. Every now and then you might want to poke one. It's gonna let out some of the juices, but it's okay. You want to make sure that your chicken is cooked through and through, because if your temperature is too high, it's gonna get brown, but it's not going to be golden brown and delicious. It's just going to get very brown on the outside and not cooked on the inside. So it's a very delicate balance that you got to strike with this thing. You got to keep an eye on it, keep a smell on it, and just observe until it's done. That's deep frying. Definitely want to be paying attention to this thing. You don't want to really turn your back. Look at it every now and then. Sometimes you can get in here with your tongs safely and check what's going on. Lift it. It's starting to look delicious. Make sure that nothing is burning. You can flip them. I mean, the best thing is to kind of leave it alone, but some of them is going to, they may get too dark on one side or something like that. So you want to curate this thing as the best you can. And if you haven't been frying this thing for at least 10 to 12 minutes, you're definitely not out of the woods. You definitely have to be frying for at least 10 to 12 minutes. To make sure that chicken is done through and through. You don't want anybody getting the runs tomorrow because you had that underdone chicken. You don't want somebody to look at that beautiful, golden brown, delicious looking chicken, take a bite, and it's like a bloody chicken at the bone. It's gross. So do yourself a favor, be patient. I'm using my thermometer every now and then, and I'm checking the temperature of my oil. And it climbs up really quick. I'm almost back to 300, 350 degrees where I started. At 269 degrees and climbing fast. It's a steady climb. But you want to make sure that your chicken is cooked thoroughly. That's the most important thing. So let me give this a little test. Just going to poke one at random. And looks like about 177 degrees. You're looking for 175 minimum. And then these are going to actually go in the oven while the other batch cooks. So that's going to raise the temperature even more. So I'm just going to take these out. I got a baking sheet in the oven. And this will help the chicken to drain, because it's not going to be sitting on the surface and in the oil. So it'll drip down on the bottom there. And it'll continue to cook with the carryover heat, and also in the oven that's going to be hot too. It's going to continue to cook, so to maintain that 170 something degree temperature at least until we're ready to eat. And it'll be nice and crispy and juicy when we're finished. So I don't know if you ever deep fry anything, but a lot of times when you deep fry stuff, the second batch comes out way darker than the first batch, and it's like burnt. It's way different than the first batch because you tend to be in the home stretch and kind of forget about it. Plus you have this oil that's not clean and pretty like the first set of oil that you use. So what I like to do when I'm finished with that first batch is I'm gonna clean the oil up a little bit. So I'm just gonna use a strainer like this and I'm gonna skim it off. So any bits of the breading that are in there, they're gonna make the oil acrid. Any little bits of chicken, you can just skim it out of there. What I can do also is I'm looking at the bottom of this and there's like some breadcrumbs at the bottom. So you want to not just at the top, you want to scrape a little bit to the bottom. You see all of the breadcrumbs and stuff. That's gonna make the oil contaminated. That's gonna make the oil. You see how that's dark? Because that's all the way at the bottom, getting all the heat. So you wanna get in there, clean your oil up a little bit because that second batch is just as important as the first one. So you want to make sure you have a clean product to work with. We ain't got time to be wasting oil up in here, no sir. But we definitely want to work in a cleaner environment. So that's it. I just cleaned it up a little bit, as you can see. I'm gonna stick my thermometer back in here, and the same thing that applied to the first batch applies to this batch as well. We have to get our temperature up to 350 to start frying, and then once we drop our chicken, the temperature is gonna go down, and then we're gonna raise our temperature, we're gonna raise our heat on our flame to even that out, to even the balance and bring it back up to the 325, 350 degree range without burning this stuff up, all right? You definitely want to take a close look, keep a close eye on your second batch. Because that oil is a little bit contaminated, you may get fooled easily. You see, it's only been in here for a couple of minutes. And you see how this one right here looks like it's done? And also, when you're frying in batches, check the amount of stuff you're frying. If you're gonna fry something in batches, try to do it evenly so you have roughly the same cook time for each batch. Don't rush to put everything in the first batch and then have the few left. Try to divide it evenly, the same amount of stuff that you're frying, like the same amount of chicken, the same number, and maybe the same sizes as well, so that you're getting an even cook and an even product. So this is the one here that's looking done. Can you see that temperature? 112 degrees. That's nowhere near done. But if you was fooled by this exterior, the exterior is based on that contaminated oil, and the fact that there's actually less pieces of chicken in here. There's like one less piece of chicken in here than was in the other batch. And it makes a big difference because this temperature of the oil jumped right back up to that boogie. It jumped up to 300 degrees really, really quickly, much quicker than the other one. For whatever reason, maybe some of these pieces might have been smaller. There's definitely less stuff in the pot because there's one entire piece that's not in here. So you got to be very careful with that second batch. You don't want it to be, a little orphan batch or something like that. You don't want it to be ugly. It's like half your chicken looks some way, and half of it looks another way, and then people is like, I'm just gonna have these over here, and then you left with a bunch of orphans on your plates. All right, be careful and watch that second batch. Grab one of these guys out of here. Check the temperature. We're reading 176 and climbing. So that looks like we're good. I'll check one more. What other basic findings on this one? Get an average. 167. And climbing. Take you out last. Let's go to the next one. In the poke. This one is 195. It's a small fry. So it's all different temperatures. We get an average and we say, okay, it's about done. Now, I want you to notice this is a whole different complexion than the first batch. Now, that's because, like I said, that oil is a little bit tainted with the breadcrumbs, the flour, the cornstarch, what's going on here. So it's a little tainted. So it's definitely going to be a difference when you're frying in batches. But you just got to make sure that you try to control the temperature as much as you can. And that way you ensure that you can get your stuff done. Well, look at it. It's not that bad. We're looking about samesies. I mean, give or take a little bit of golden brownness, but at least there's none awful looking. I don't smell any burnt smell throughout the kitchen. It definitely look delicious. I'll eat any one. Sometimes you have a little off one and you don't want to eat it, so you just put it to the side and hope somebody else pick it up. You're like, I'll just put it over here. I don't have any. They're all delicious looking. Jump up in there and take a look at that. That's all, that's hot. That's all delicious. That's all delicious. And stick it back in this warm oven. And we got one more dish to prepare. We're gonna use this oil again. So I'm gonna skim this oil off and be right back. All right, our chicken is done. Our mac and cheese is done. So I'm just begging this oil one more time to come up to 350, which it is. 323, 5, 8, 30, 43, 6, 9, 51. Okay, we're up to 350 already with our oil. I drained it off completely. Took all the breadcrumbs out. Take a look at all these breadcrumbs and chaff that came out from the chicken. Right? So we don't want that contaminated oil. I drained it off completely, wiped out the pan, and then we have a fresher product to work with, the oil. It's used and we're recycling it, but act like you're not getting recycled oil at your favorite restaurant too. So you can do it at home as long as you keep it clean and you keep the oil fresh. You strain it off and you get all the bad stuff out of it, and then you can still use it one, maybe two more times. I don't really like to use oil over and over again. I use it for like one thing, and that's pretty much it. So we got our oil up to 350. I'm gonna cut this down a little because I know it's climbed past 350 since I've been talking to you. I don't want this to get all crazy. Now remember our Brussels sprouts that we prepped up before. Remember I said we're gonna do a little something naughty, we're gonna do a little something nice. So now we're gonna do something a little naughty with something nice. So it's a vegetable. Yeah, it's good for you. Yeah, it's green, it's cruciferous, it's delicious, it has vitamins and minerals and riboflavin, but we're gonna deep fry these sons of guns. We're gonna make them taste real good. So all I did was just, as you saw, cut and peel them of the little oxidized pieces and stuff like that. And I didn't season this because I didn't want any salt drawing any moisture out of this thing, because I'm gonna deep fry it. I need to get something over here. Because I'm gonna deep fry it, if you put salt on something like this vegetable, it's gonna start drawing the moisture out to the surface, and then when it hits the oil, it's gonna be chaos. So you don't really want that. These are pretty dry, and then we're gonna season them up after they're fried. The oil itself is seasoned from the chicken. So and from the breadcrumbs and from all the seasoning and stuff like that. So that's gonna put some flavor in here. And then we're also gonna toss this in a nice little sauce when we're done. So here we go. Brussels sprouts, meat oil. Oil, hold on, I don't know, I'm scared. All right. If she dies, she dies. No, I can't do it like that. I'm gonna do this the smart way. All right, let me not act crazy and get styrofoam in there or something and stuff start jumping around. I don't want anything like that. So here we go. There's a lot of water content. Pass the, never mind, I got it, don't worry. You need a shield when you go into this type of battle. That oil is hot. Oh, it smells good already. Get another batch again. Oh. Stop. Cover that up. Oh, that smells so incredible right now. Oh, this is gonna be good. Get out of here. Come on in here. Take a look at this goodness. I'm just gonna move this around a little bit. When this oil is gonna come back up to that temperature, you're gonna just watch it. Because it's a vegetable, it's gonna cook quick. We ain't gotta worry about it. We're just looking for a nice exterior. And then we'll be able to take it off, drain it, and then we're gonna season it up. One thing I'm never gonna do is lie to you, my audience, about what's going on in the kitchen. Now, deep fried Brussels sprouts is almost a fail because I think I should have done it in batches like I did the chicken. Overwhelmed the oil, and Brussels sprouts are starting to fall apart a little bit, and it's starting to like become an oily soup. So what I'm doing now is rescuing Brussels sprouts. So I'm gonna add them to these frying pans and draining them off. And I'm pan frying them. I probably should have did this in the first place, but I've seen deep fried Brussels sprouts before. But perhaps in a commercial setting or something where I don't have the capability to fry at that high heat or high capacity. So rescuing Brussels sprouts has become my mission right now. Well, if you take a look in here, these are looking pretty good. I'm just gonna get these a little bit more brown and tasty. Then I'm gonna drain this off because it's got a lot of excess oil from where I pulled it from the other pot. So I'm gonna drain these off, and if they don't taste good, we're gonna 86 the Brussels sprouts. It's okay because we got veg in the mac and cheese. So we got a little healthy, we got a little naughty, we got a little nice. So I'm rescuing Brussels sprouts. I'm gonna let y'all know what happens. Okay, I think I rescued the Brussels sprouts. They're a little oily, so they may be a little bit more naughty than nice, but they look great. Check that out. They got a nice little char on them. Some of these loose leaves, they got loose. They got a little oily, but overall it's okay. So while it's hot and draining, I got it in this strainer. I'm gonna hit it with a nice pinch of salt because we didn't season this before. And what I'll do is go over the top, and then I'll toss and get the ones from the bottom to come to the top. And that way we can make sure that we're seasoning everything evenly. So a nice little pinch of salt. Some freshly cracked pepper. Same thing. Toss. And then give these some more love. There's a half a teaspoon of, oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to use this for the sauce. So while this is simmering in that, I'm gonna put some chopped garlic. There couldn't be a program of mine without garlic in it. So the carryover heat that's in here is gonna mellow down that garlic a little bit. It's gonna heat it up and kind of cook it. And you're gonna get a nice little bite of garlic throughout. Toss that real nice and distribute that. Stuff happens. I'm not a professional cook. I have not been trained. I have been observing cooking, and I've been cooking since I was a child, you know, with my grandmother, with my mother, with my father, and I've been cooking for my family for several years, my friends for several years. I cooked for myself when I was in college and stuff like that. So I've been cooking for a long time. I'm not a professional by any means. So I'm here to share my experiences and let you know the things that can go wrong, the things that will go wrong. And it will happen to you. It may not happen to you. It could happen to you because it happens to me. It happens to the professionals. This is not like some clean and polished thing that I'm trying to show you, trying to show off and just be some Mr. Perfect. Stuff happens every single day, and it's our job to save our money that we spent on our ingredients and stuff like that, and to save our dishes, you know, to try and adapt and overcome. You can't just throw stuff in the bin like the other Chef Ramsay does when he gets mad at the contestants. He's like, "Oh, this is rubbish." Pow! He throws it off. You know, I can't do that with my food. So we're gonna rescue it the best that we can. So now we're gonna get into this sauce. I'm gonna put a half a teaspoon of sugar, just regular white sugar. There it goes. This is a tablespoon of soy sauce. Looking like 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Not sharp. It needs sharpening. The juice of half a lime. And if I could open it, here it goes. Half a teaspoon, I'm sorry, of fish sauce. Now, fish sauce is potent, powerful stuff. This thing smells, but it tastes real good. It's made from like fermented anchovy extract or something like that, salt and sugar. It is a key ingredient in a lot of Asian cooking. It smells, but it tastes, it's packed with flavor. It's in a lot of your favorite Asian dishes. So, but when you're gonna use it, this is the amount you need to use. Very sparingly, because otherwise it will make your house smell like, I don't even know. One time, the first time that I used it, I will never forget it. I put a little bit in a frying pan, it got heated, it smelled like, I don't even know what kind of fish factory in there for days. So if you're gonna use fish sauce, be super duper 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 careful. I'm gonna give this a little stir. It smells like a gym sock. So then I'm gonna, oh wait, let's see. There's a lot of oil there, so I'm gonna not use that pan. Use this clean bowl. And then I'm just gonna, you know what? I didn't taste it. Very tart, very tangy. And that fish sauce is dynamite, and that gives that umami flavor right here at the back. It's really good. It disappears into the rest of it though, so it's not stinky. So I'm just gonna pour this over top. And again, give it a toss. Oh, you can smell the garlic, right? You smell the garlic in there. It's all cooking in those hot Brussels sprouts. All right, so I'm just gonna finish that off. Give it another toss. And I'm gonna give one a try. Let's see if these Brussels sprouts were truly rescued. It's a little bit soggy from the oil bath that it got, but the next time when I do this is gonna be better. But the flavor from that sauce, that garlic, and that little seasoning, it's dynamite. I think that's a winner. Winner, winner, Brussels sprout dinner. All right, we're gonna clean up a little bit and then I'm gonna get to plating and serving my family.